Hey everyone, can you believe last night's debate? It was wow. It was off to kind of a slow start, I would have to say, but it looks like Joe Biden finally was able to stay awake for the entire thing. It only took him 6 debates, but who's counting? I am. Anyways, guys, last night's debate was really interesting. I would say that the winner of last night's debate, or winners rather, was Bernie Sanders. He came out looking super presidential. He has, a very strong and tempered response to things, and he really sounded, I would say, almost presidential. I was very, very impressed with his showing. He was very strong in his commitment to human rights advocacy and calling for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine. And then we saw that Joe Biden had really good answers and seemed really with it. And I thought that that was excellent. Also, another winner of last night's debate was Elizabeth Warren. Her and Mayor Pete Buttigieg kind of got into it, and I found it interesting because it came on the heels of her expressing her selfie game. Now, if you know anything about Elizabeth Warren's campaign, she is known on the trail for stopping and taking selfies with everybody, and literally you run through the selfie line and she does not stop until everybody has gotten their selfies. And I've been watching this from a distance and I thought it was kind of unique, and I'm like, okay, yeah, she's doing another selfie and whatever. But last night, she explained the strategy behind it, and I thought it was fascinating. She said, look, people don't have the money to spend $5,000 on a photo with me. And I think that by allowing people to take selfies with me and doing this selfie strategy, it will allow the campaign to be more about everybody and be very inclusive. And I have to say I don't disagree with that strategy message. Now, Mayor Pete Buttigieg took this as a total dig to him, and apparently he had a fundraiser in a wine cave, and now my friends and I are planning our next girls trip to a wine cave, so if you have any recommendations, drop them in the comments below. But in all seriousness, Mayor Pete Buttigieg took that as a total insult, and they went at it, and I will say that during the time of the Warren and Buttigieg exchange, Warren was very strong, and she came out very in her conviction. She was very confident in that, and it looked really good on her, I thought. And I thought it was also impressive, pardon my French. She didn't look like a bitch. She was just completely honest and saying, look, like, I'm running a campaign that's about the people, and you're trying to run the same campaign, but let's be honest, you're being funded by billionaires. And they went at it, and it was really interesting to watch that exchange. And then we had Amy Klobuchar, who at every chance she got reminded us she was from the Midwest. And, my friends and I kind of joked about, they were like, this is ridiculous. We know where she is from. We understand it's a flyover state, but she lives there. And if that is her qualification to win this election, that might be a little shaky ground. But we are reminded that our president is a former reality TV star. So at this rate, anything is possible in American politics. But in all seriousness, when I saw Andrew Yang, I thought that he was impressive, mainly because he did this thing where they asked him a diversity question. So last night, just to give you a quick recap, it was 7 candidates on stage, and it was interesting because it was, as everybody was talking in the press, it was the least diverse candidacy lineup that we had had in 6 months. And I don't take that away from the Democrats, and I get it. Look, out of everyone that was qualified on that stage last night, Andrew Yang was the only person of color, which the Politico people that were running the debate pointed out to him and asked him about diversity. And he not only managed to sidestep the question and say, I am a son of immigrants in America, but then he pivoted into his freedom dividend, where everybody in the country would receive $1,000 a month, and that would allow people access to run for higher office and be on the stage with him. And I thought that was kind of unique, but again, Andrew Yang is always reminding us how we can get $1,000 a month should he become president. Now, I will say one of the losers of last night's debate was Tom Steyer, and it wasn't for his stance on climate change. Look, I am all about that. I think there is a climate crisis and that something needs to be done, but Tom Steyer just kind of got lost in the shuffle. He was on there and then he would interject, and it was kind of bizarre. But the strongest last night, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. I thought Mayor Pete Buttigieg could have done more. I think that he's really strong in his responses, but they're beginning to sound very regurgitated and canned. And I think that we're missing a little bit of that personality edge. Now, Joe Biden, again, he had a very great showing. I would say out of all the debates that I've watched with him, this was his best night. Same also to be said for Bernie Sanders. It was a great night for Bernie Sanders. And, it was interesting because they're really attacking him for being old, for being a socialist, for having all of these fanatical ideas. But the reality was last night he came out, he had a new suit on, a new tie, his hair was combed, and he was looking like he was ready to take office. And I really respected that about him. But overall, I thought last night's debate was substantive. I think that it was great having 7 candidates. We got to learn more about policy stances. We got to have real policy conversations. And I will say that the people I did not miss on the stage last night was Tulsi Gabbard. I think that she can stay in Hawaii and continue to serve the people there. I don't think that she should find her way to the stage after the new year, and I hope that at some point she suspends her campaign because she was not missed, at least by me and my friends. So I'm curious, what were your thoughts last night? Did you enjoy it? Did you think that Joe Biden was a strong showing, or were you, really rooting for Pete Buttigieg? I'm just really curious to see where you guys are at with this because look, Iowa caucuses are less than 50 days away, and they're going to go to the polls and they're going to vote. And next thing you know, it'll be New Hampshire and then Super Tuesday. And before we know it, November will be here. And guys, it is going to be one heck of an election. So I hope that you'll stay tuned. And I'm really curious to think, who did you thought won and lose last night? So please let me know, who were the biggest losers, who were the biggest winners, and what policy stances did you wish that we drilled in a little bit more? Thanks so much for tuning in and have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.